Welcome class to lesson 3-4. Strong mathematicians can use the digit by digit method to divide. So you can pause the video, get out your notebook, the pencil, write down today's date, the name of the lesson, and let's begin. So the digit by digit method is what I also call the quote unquote parent method. If your parents have been trained in division, they've been probably doing it in a way that you haven't seen or we haven't talked about yet. And today we're looking at it and see like, oh, how does it make sense to what we've already been doing, but with a little bit less work? So I'll look at the place values in decreasing order. I'll imagine zeros in the other places, but I don't need to think about them until I'm ready to divide in that place. Is this little saying that we have that we recognize that can help us out? So what does that mean as an example? Not yet, just teasing you. So we have the divisor, the quotient, remainder, dividend. Still have those big vocabulary words. We always want to keep those fresh, little visual of it to be like, oh, that's what all those terms are when we see them. Now, here's what we're looking for. So box 2 example, we're looking at how does this work step by step. Look how we're bringing things down and continuing on with that one. So step 1, we're going to look at the greatest place value first. That's our hundreds right here. So right here, I'm looking at my hundreds. I'm going to divide the hundreds. Well, if I have 7 hundreds and I'm making groups of 3, I know I can have 2 groups. All right? 2 times 3 groups would be 6. 7 minus 6 is 1. We know that 1 is less than 3. So we know that we can't make any more groups that's left of my 100. So what we're going to do now is we're going to bring down the 6. Notice how there's that little blue line right here that's bringing down the 6 in this example. And now our 100 turns into tens, really. So now I have 16 tens. So now I'm in the tens place value. How many tens can 3 make out of 16? Well, that would be 5. 5 times 3 is 15. We know the 1 is less than 3, so we're able to move on to the next one. So now we can bring down, as you see right here, I always talk about bring down, I like to draw arrows, just like I did over here in step 3. I bring down the 2, and now my 110 will turn into 1. So now instead of having 2, I'd have 12 ones. I'm going to divide the ones, then subtract. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 minus 12 is 0 to get that. So you can pause the video, really emphasis on bringing down your place values when you're on to the next step. One thing that I like to do, as you're pausing, write this down, I like to actually have a, like I said, almost like a square. That kind of really helps me, that I just kind of block everything else off. Because in that way, as I move through the problem, I can say, okay, now I can go to the next digit. All right, now I can go to the next digit. And that way I'm not worried about all those other things that could distract me. With the problem, I just focus on one place value at a time. So hopefully you have this written down. We can move on to actually using some real life examples to see how does this work in the parent method that my parents have been telling me about, and now I can try to see if I can make it work. So digit by digit. So what I'm going to do is I like that idea of having that little place value card, so I'm actually going to draw one out for myself. And I'm going to color it, so that way it kind of actually is blocked in so I don't get distracted by those numbers that I see. We'll choose a pretty blue, perfect. All right. And with that, can 8 go into 5? Well, if I have 8 things and I only have 5, I can't give them 1, so it's going to be nothing in the hundreds place value. But can 8 go into 57? Yes, it can. So 8 can go into 57. Well, 8 times 5 is 40. So it's going to be higher than 5. 6 is 40 plus 8 would be 48. 7 would be 48 plus 8 would be 56. That's pretty close. So I'm going to go with the 7 right here. Now I have to multiply. 7 times 8 is 56. Now I have to subtract 1. I know 1 is less than 8, so I can go to my next place value. So in our previous ones, we would be writing like 70 right up above by the 7, but we don't have to because we're going place value by place value. So I slide it over. I'm now going to take it, I'm going to bring down the 8. And now I have 18 ones left. So how many times can 8 go into 18? Well, 18 is a pretty small number, so I'm going to start with 2. 8 times 2 is 16. That's pretty close to 18 without going over. I'm going to go 2. 8 times 2 is 16. I'm going to subtract. I'm left with 2. So can I slide over? Oh, I knew that was going to happen when I did that. Slide that over. And I can erase this. I have nothing to bring down, so that means whatever's left over now, right here, is going to become my remainder. So to make sure I bring it up here, remainder of 2. So there's a step-by-step going through each one to make sure I have all the steps in place. So I'm going to slide my card over again to help me out. See, can 7 go into 5? Nope. Can 7 go into 52? Yes, it can. Well, I know back from my previous problem, 8 times 7 was 56, so that's too big. So I'm going to go one number less. I'm going to go with a 6 right here. So that's 6 times 7. Oh, wait a second. I can't do that one. a little too off because they don't have the same numbers. They changed the divisor on me. It's 7, it's not 8 right now. So let's find out there. So let's see, 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 7 is 49, so that's pretty close. So put a 7 right there. 7 times 7 is 49. I subtract, I'm left with 3. 3 is less than 7. I can go on to the next box. I can now bring down the 9. So I turned my hundreds into tens, plus the 9 tens I have. So how many times can 7 go into 39? Well, I always go with 5. 7 times 5 is 35. That's pretty close. So I put a 5 there. 35 there. I'm going to subtract. I get 4. 4 is less than 7. So I can now go take my card and slide it over and bring the next number down, which is a 2. So now I take my 4 tens I have left, turn them into ones, and I have 42 ones. 7 can go into 42. Let's see, 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 6 is 42. Wait, 42, perfect. 7 times 6 is 42. When I subtract, I have nothing left, so I don't have any remainder. I don't have to put remainder 0 because 0 and remainder 0 means I don't have to do anything. So 7 can be 5,292 can be divided by 7 756 times. Same pause the video right now. Write down these examples to help you out. Really focusing on those arrows and bringing down the place value. If you like the idea of a note card, make sure you use that to help you be successful. And here we go. So at box 3, now it's your turn. So there's 3 separate problems right here I'd like you to solve. I'd like you to solve 672 divided by 7, 4,152 divided by 3, and 6,283 divided by 4. So take your time, use the strategy, go one place value at a time, and good luck. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to write them down or share them out. If also you have any strategies that you use to help you, make sure you include them as well. And thanks again for another great lesson.